What's up? What's up? The title of today's discussion is Dreaming with God, Co-Creation from the Field of Infinite Potential. Okay, so we're going to continue down this series of how within your reality you are the creator. And continue to step into that powerful version of yourself, all right? Really, all these discussions recently are meant to empower you, meant to push you into a more divine knowing, a more intimate knowing of yourself. And matter of fact, let's just get right into it, all right? So the quote from Lao Tzu that we're going to really talk about first is, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. And I want to talk about this metaphysically. Letting go of what I am, right? We can often put these false labels on ourselves when we're much more than those labels, right? What are some of those labels? Well, we can minimize ourselves to just a social status or a status within a family, right? I'm a brother, I'm a son, I'm a mother, I'm a father, whatever the case may be. I work here, I do this. But then we can get even deeper. We can say things like, I am healing, right? I am trying to be a child of the Most High, right? We can say a lot of these things and it really dilutes us down, okay? It really strips our power away from us, when really the most important thing for us to remember is that you are made in the perfect image of the Creator, the perfect image. And so when we start to drop who we think we are and simply rise in the knowing, when we just dare to know who we are, all right? This goes hand in hand with, you want to create your reality. Well, stop trying to walk in faith. Stop trying to embody faith and simply go to the assumption that right now you are perfectly made in the image of the Creator, and everything that you decree comes to be. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. All right? The concept, or even the thought, that I have to try to be worthy or try to be whole or try to be in alignment, all of those things, they imply that I'm separate from that worthy and whole version of myself right now, right? It implies that right now I'm not that person, so I have to conjure up some feeling, or I have to go down a path of walking, working, or striving to get there. And that's what we're trying to eliminate, is that false sense of not being who you really are, right? We want to stop pretending to be anything less than divine, all right? So the quote again, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Lao Tzu speaks here of surrendering the illusion of identity. What we've been told we are, what we've adopted to survive, what ego clings to in fear of death. The ego constructs a self based on separation, right? This is what the purpose of the ego is, right? It's just a collection of thoughts meant to keep you safe. It is basically a set of predictable patterns, right? It's basically your body saying, we've got this, so you don't have to think too much. We're going to keep you safe by clinging to what is predictable. So what are some aspects or some concepts that the ego creates, right? So the ego constructs a self based on separation. I am my name, I am my pain, my past, my status, but that I is fragile, right? It's limited and rooted in comparison. So whenever we're being defined by that ego, by that very human part of us, we begin to believe in separation. We begin to make ourselves seem small, little, not powerful, okay? So to let go of what you think you are is to peel back the mask and remember the eternal self beneath it, right? To remember the eternal self in beneath all of those labels. That eternal self beneath. Unveil it from behind all those labels, all right? So remember the eternal self beneath it. It is a return and not a becoming. You do not become divine, right? You're not on the process of trying to heal, trying to get more worthy, trying to get in alignment. You are remembering that you already are, right? Just assume that you truly are made in the perfect image of the Creator. And allow that knowing to comfort you, right? So if I am the wish of the Creator made manifest, then how could I ever not be in the state of the wish fulfilled? How could I ever not be in the state of the wish fulfilled if I'm the fulfilled wish of the Creator? All right, got to get in flow. All right, believe that you are broken. Believing. Let me take a deep breath. All right, let's get serious. All right. Believing that you are broken, unworthy, or lacking is not humility. It is spiritual amnesia. It is forgetting who you are at your core. Walking around believing that you're broken, unworthy. You need to conjure up a feeling to get in alignment. You need to do all these things to be accepted, to actually be in alignment with the version of you that has everything that you want. That is spiritual amnesia. That's not humility. Walking around playing small. Remember, you are the perfect image of the Creator. It is agreeing to play a role that denies your origin. You are not your wounds. You are the light that's been buried beneath them. Lack is not your truth. It is a costume worn by a soul that forgot its source. To let go of the false self, to let go of that self that believes in separation, is to stop pretending, to stop performing, to stop performing the identity of not enough. Okay? It is to stop pretending and stop performing the identity of not enough. In that release, what remains is pure potential. The divine doesn't need to be added to you. It simply needs to be unveiled. And that is the key statement that we're going to dive into today. All right. The divine doesn't need to be added to you. It simply needs to be unveiled. You're not looking to get more in alignment with God. How could you do that? Sources within you. You are more God than human. It's just a small fraction of you that lives in this material world. The rest of you is a purely spiritual being. Right? Purely spiritual being. How can you add to yourself what you were born as? What you were already born as. Right? So this is a process of unveiling, of removing the precisely of removing the BS. This is a process of purely removing the BS. You're not adding things. You're not trying to get more in alignment. How? Your source. You're not trying to get more worthy. How? Your source. You don't need to become more prosperity. You don't need to walk around in some magical frequency of prosperity. At your core, that's who you are. You simply need to stop pretending that you are anything else. Right? Instead of trying to be these things, simply remember that you already are these things. Remember, how do I do? What do I have to do is always going to be the wrong question. The right question is, what do I have to remember that I already am? What do I have to do is always the wrong question. Who do I have to remember I already am? How can you become what you were born as, right? Worthiness, prosperity, being divine is more natural to you than breathing. If you can breathe, you are worthy. So the next time that you're sitting here saying, oh, you know what? I'm just not in alignment. I just don't feel like I'm worthy. I feel like I'm wavering. Remember, you are so close to the divine. You are the divine. You are so close to the divine that you are the divine. Being worthy, being prosperity is more natural to you than breathing. That I amness, right? That I am awareness beneath all the bullshit, underneath all that bullshit, right? At your core, it is untouched by your feelings. It's untouched by the circumstances that you're in. It's simply waiting for your decree. It is simply waiting for you to say the word, I already am, no matter what. I already am, no matter what, all right? So the divine canvas, the divine canvas. In the beginning was not merely the word, but the dream, the breathless hush before the utterance, the formless potential wrapped in silence and light. You were there. Not as flesh, but as fire and knowing. A thought in the mind of God. Okay? So to dream with God is not to beg from a deity. To pray is not to beg from a deity, but to awaken as the deity dreams through you. To start taking your thoughts, your desires, and treating them as holy, as sacred promises. And then walking in the knowing of someone who remembers who they are. Right? Imagination is not escapism, it is entrance. Feeling is not weakness, it is the frequency. Desire is not sin, it is sacred direction. Desire is not sin, it is sacred direction. It might be controversial, right? But think about that. Desire is not sin, it is sacred direction. Matthew 19:26, with God all things are possible. Possible. Okay? Another quote by Neville. Imagination is the very gateway of reality. Remember, in the beginning was the Word, in the beginning was consciousness. Therefore, everything was made from that word, from that conscious word. Therefore, everything today is pure consciousness. So your reality, what it is made of is your consciousness, your awareness. That is what forms everything around you, right? Nothing has meaning until you give it meaning. Why not walk around actually remembering who you are? Knowing that because I am the divine, because I am naturally worthy, everything must be added unto me. Right? Go within yourself, seek ye first the kingdom, and then all things will be added unto thee. Right? And then one of my other favorite quotes, right? You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Right? One of the illusions is thinking we're fragments of source, pieces of source, rays of light from source, right? But that implies separation in itself. Right? You are not a fragment of the divine trying to chase wholeness. You are the wholeness of God pretending to be a fragment, pretending to be smaller than yourself. There is no separation. There's only one power. There's only one mind. And all of it is within you. All of it. Right? Where any part of God is, all of source must be there. Right? You are the creator of this reality of yours. It only takes instructions. Your entire reality only obeys you. It only takes instructions from you. Okay? So the field of infinite potential, beyond the mind's logic, beyond the body's fears, there is a field, a realm untouched by time or trauma, where all that could be already is. This is the quantum womb of creation. Right? The soul remembers this place when it dreams with boldness, when it feels what it has not yet seen, and believes what it cannot yet touch. Right? This is when you really tap in to that quantum field. Right? It's when you can go within that void, and guess what? You can begin to feel what has not yet been seen and believe what cannot yet be touched. And what is belief? What is belief? What is faith? What is conviction? Right? I want you to detach from the thought or the notion that all of these things are feelings. They're not feelings, right? What is your conviction? What is your faith? What is your belief, right? This is simply your ability to continuously go back to the same story without deviating. When I tell the same story, that is my belief. That is my belief, right? I can sit here and hope for a good woman all day. But if I just sit here and I talk shit and I think all women ain't this, which one is my belief? That I'm going to find a good woman or all women ain't shit? Well, it's the one that I continuously go to. That core assumption that these women ain't shit, right? You're always creating a reality, right? When we talk about faith or conviction or belief or all these things, remember, we are talking about your ability to continue to refuse to tell a different story, to not identify with anything differently. To not identify. And so then we'll start thinking, okay, well, what if somebody else is speaking about something I don't want to believe in? Well, the same way that you can go to a movie and you can see something play out on the screen that you do not want to experience, right? And you don't identify with that. Well, treat your friend the same way. Treat these people the same way. No one has power over your reality unless you give it to them. You are the one who says, oh, they think about this, it's always our story, right? So who is the one who says, oh, what this other person is saying is going to impact my reality? Who's making that declaration? It's us. We are. We are telling that story, whether you heard it from somebody else, whether that's what you feel or believe, you are still the one who accepted that truth and is telling that story. You are a creator. Your words are powerful. Your expectations are powerful. So when people are talking to you about stuff you don't want to experience, you can make the decision whether that has a hold over you or not, whether you want to identify with it or not, right? And what will be the next logical question, right? Because we always want to add these logical processes to this spiritual practice, right? What is the next logical question? Well, how do I not identify with it? Well, how do I just have these conversations and not identify with it? Just say you don't identify with it. Just relax. Get into your body. Stop walking through life fearful when you're the creator. Stop shying away from experiences. Shying away from people, shying away from our own feelings. This is what we do when we get on this reality creation space, right? Because it does get so toxic in some ways that we believe we can't even interact with the world anymore. I can't talk to this person because they're going to bring me down. Well, only if you let them. Well, I can't have this feeling because it's going to put me out of alignment. Well, that's your story, right? It's always the story that you're telling, right? Any story that you're telling that does not put you in alignment with what you want is a limiting belief. Okay? And think about this across all areas of life. All of them, right? The constant example I give is, if you learn about your zodiac sign today and you read about it, who is the one who decides if those traits are your prison? It's you. It's you. Right? People can tell you whatever they believe about women or men. Who is the one who decides that if it's true? That it's true. It's you. Right? The doctor tells you have 2 months to live. Who is the one who decides that that is their prison or transcended? It's you. It's us. Right? Stop allowing people to speak prophecy in your life and realize you're the only prophet. You are the only one with authority over your life. You're the only one, right? So we leak our power from telling these wrong stories. Okay? Remind yourself, right? This is the power of awareness or consciousness, presence, walking through life and actually paying attention to yourself. Okay? If you spent the next week, right, and your main focus was, I want to actually pay attention to myself as I'm walking through life, right? I want to know myself as the creator. And I want to monitor my thoughts. I want to monitor my expectations of the stories that I'm telling. All right? If you go around, let's say that you have parents that may have a lot of limiting beliefs, okay? And so you go around them and all of a sudden you're on the way there, you're saying, dang, I don't even want to go down there because they're going to bring me down. Guess what you just did? You just decreed for that situation to go a certain way. You just stepped into your creative power and decreed a thing. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Instead, determine how it's going to go. Even if you have to say it, no matter what, I know that I'm going to go into this experience. I'm going to show up as loving as I can. Whatever conversations happen, they happen. And I know that everything is still working out for me no matter what I feel and no matter what happens. Why not use your power for good, right? Why not use that spoken word to actually create the reality that you want? This is why I always make an emphasis on focusing on every aspect of your life, not just focusing on one thing that you think is big, right? And all of a sudden we just get so dragged into that one thing that we can't think of anything else. We can't be present in anything else. Begin to use this inherent power in you in every aspect of your life. In every aspect of your life. All right? Do you talk or do you catch yourself saying things, having expectations about how meetings will go with certain people at work? About how conversations will go with the ex, with the loved one, with the child, with the parent. These are all creative decrees, right? Do you have expectations about how your money is going to be, right? I just can't get ahead, right? Even the story of, I can't hold on to money. This is just a story. It is simply a story that we're telling. And so this is why it says life and death are in the power of the tongue, right? And those that love it, right, will eat its fruit, enjoy its fruit, harvest its fruit, whatever the case may be, all right? When you begin to love paying attention to yourself, walking around and being present, being conscious, being aware, you are going to reap the benefits of speaking the word, of using your word for good. Right? This is the only power that you really have in this life, y'all. Okay, think about that. You can't control other people. But guess what? By changing my perspective, I can call forth a different version of them. I can't change that event out there. It's done. It's in that reality. It's solid in that reality. But by changing myself, I can call forward a different reality. It's always about me. It's always about my perspective of things. It's always about the story that I'm telling. It's always about the lens that I decide to see life through. It's all about you. So we've always been pushed, and we've had these conversations where we talk about how a lot of things that we hear are backwards. Okay? So the world would tell you, don't be selfish, focus on everybody else, put everybody before you. But the truth is that if you really want to be good for everybody, one of the more powerful quotes that we talked about yesterday was, once you actually start to heal yourself, you change the world for everybody. When I say heal, I'm not talking about striving to heal. I'm talking about seeing yourself as source, seeing yourself as the divine, seeing yourself as the creator of your reality. Once you begin to embody consciousness and presence about yourself, stay aware of yourself, of your story, guess what? Now you begin to see other people more perfectly, and you allow different versions of them to step forward. So just by you focusing on yourself, focusing on your perspective, choosing to see things in a more beautiful way, guess what? You heal the world around you. You heal all the people that are important to you, all the situations that are important to you. Just by knowing who you are, which is a very powerful way to think. It's a very profound truth to realize, is that I'm not just doing this for me. I am not just doing this for me. Right? It seems like it at first, right? Because this can come off as a very arrogant statement to the uninitiated, right? Saying, I am source, I'm the creator of this reality. Of course, people are gonna think that's very arrogant. Naturally, okay? Naturally. But this is the most humble assumption that you can make, is now, because I know that I'm source, that means I'm a walking expression of the divine. And if I'm a walking expression of the divine, I need to be very mindful of how I speak to others, how I view others, how I speak to myself, how I view myself. If I'm truly embodying, walking around like I am the temple of the Most High, I am the divine. Which anytime I go into my imagination, anytime that I speak, guess what? I'm communing with the divine. I'm speaking as an expression of it. And this requires reverence. This requires reverence. You have to be mindful. You have to be respectful of this, right? You have to be respectful of this, okay? So the field of infinite potential. All right, so to live from this field is to stop reacting and start authoring. You are not a reactor to reality, okay? You are not a reactor to reality, but a revealer of what already exists in you or exists in God. Jeremiah 33:3. This is what we're going to talk about for a second. Jeremiah 33:3. All right? Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. What is that? Like, what do you get from that statement? All right, let's hear it one more time. Okay? Metaphysically, what is this? What does this mean, right? Call unto me, and I will answer thee. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. Okay? When God says, call unto me, it is not merely a command. It is an act of grace. Okay, here it is. It's an act of grace. It acknowledges that in our limited human understanding, we often reach the end of our strength, our logic, our knowing. But in that moment, when we cry out, not from control, but from surrender, we enter into a sacred space where heaven responds. The verse promises not only an answer, but revelation, a glimpse into mysteries we could never uncover by intellect alone. Great and mighty things speaks to dimensions beyond human comprehension, truths, solutions, and realities hidden behind the veil of ordinary perception. Okay, so you're walking through reality, and like I say, as within, so without is not even a profound enough statement to really make about your connection to what you see out there, right? There is no separation, there is just you. There is no as within, there is no without. Reality simply is you. It simply is you. This version of you is connected to the reality that you are in. This version of you is connected to the reality that you are in right now. Every moment is changing, okay? Every moment is changing. But guess what? This reality is also veils a lot of things. There's truths that we can't see. There's solutions to your problems that from a human third dimensional perspective, we can't realize it. We can't comprehend. There are infinite realities, infinite reality. This is just one out of infinite possibilities for your life, okay? Whatever situation you're dealing with, that is just one of infinite possibilities. The person that you're dealing with, that is just one of infinite versions of them. The parents that you have, there's infinite versions of them, okay? That bank account that you're looking at, there's infinite versions of it. The way that you can receive that money, there's infinite ways. Infinite ways. But guess what? It is all hidden behind this veil. So when we actually surrender to that source within us, when we surrender to who we really are, when we let that greater part of us do the work, and we stop trying to strive and be worthy, we stop trying to be something that we were born as. It's really a ridiculous concept, right? You were made in the perfect image of the Creator. Perfect image. And then we get down here and we think we have to strive and be worthy to get what we want. Hold up. Just by me striving to be worthy, I'm declaring that I don't believe I'm worthy. You don't have to be what you already are. Like I said, being worthy is more natural to you than breathing. Being prosperous is more natural to you than breathing. It's more natural to you than breathing. If you can breathe, you are worthy. If you can breathe, you are loved, right? What if you don't feel worthy? Are you breathing? You're worthy. You are worthy. Okay? This verse, let's talk about the next part. This verse invites us into co-creation, not through effort, but intimacy. Right? So let me read this one more time. Call unto me, and I will answer thee. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. Okay? So this verse invites us into co-creation, not through effort, but intimacy, which thou knowest not. I'll show you things which thou knowest not. Reminds us that there is a realm of existence and possibility far beyond what we've been taught or dared to dream. Key word right here. Keywords. Okay, let me bold that shit. All right. There is a realm of existence and possibility far beyond what we have been, one, taught or dared to dream. Basically, it's saying that you can't even dream what's possible for you. You can't even dream what you can receive. All right. So in the original Hebrew, mighty things, okay? In the original Hebrew, mighty things can also be translated as fortified or inaccessible. Mighty things can mean fortified or inaccessible. So let's see that, okay? Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee fortified and inaccessible things. Now think about how much more powerful that is. Call unto me, and I will. Remember, when we talk about will, there's source is timeless. Source is timeless. One of the concessions we make as humans is we're like, one day for us is 1,000 years, or 1 year is 1,000 years. Anyways, we make some kind of human concession to the mind of source. But remember, there is no time. There's no time to the divine. It's all happening right now. Every single reality, every single possible combination. So whenever we see the word will is not a declaration of time. It's not saying it will happen one day. When we say call unto me and I will answer thee, will is a statement of absolute ownership. Will is an absolute statement of I will. Right? Asking you will receive. It doesn't mean I will in the future. It means asking you will receive. Like it's guaranteed. Like there is no time, you have it now. There is no time, you have it now. It's guaranteed. Okay? So call unto me and I will answer thee and show thee fortified and inaccessible things. Inaccessible is such a profound word when we really take it back to the Hebrew, right? So great and mighty things. Okay, cool. Great and mighty things. That's conceivable. But when I revise that and I say, the Most High will show me inaccessible and fortified things. Now I'm working with something. Okay? Inaccessible and fortified things, which thou knowest not, right? This makes you curious. This is, inaccessible. Okay, she sounds sexy. Inaccessible. That's what I want in my life. Those dreams that I thought were inaccessible, right? That's what you want too. And it's Jeremiah 33:3. Jeremiah 33:3. All right. So in the original Hebrew, mighty things can also be translated as fortified or inaccessible, meaning God will unveil what is otherwise impossible to reach by human means. Thus, prayer is not a ritual of begging. You were never told, thou shalt beg. And the harder you beg, the more you'll receive, right? But a gateway to revelation. Prayer is a gateway to revelation. When we align ourselves with the divine through sincere calling, we unlock new timelines, hidden potential, and divine blueprints waiting to be manifested through us. Beautiful. Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's what faith is. It's actually the substance. It's the substance of the things that you hope for, right? Your faith is actually what creates your reality. That's what it's saying. Faith is the substance. What is a substance? It's the substance of things hoped for. It's what makes it up. Okay? Another quote by Rumi. The universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything that you want, you already are. Everything that you want, you already are. And this is such a profound way to look at life, right? Instead of trying to be worthy, instead of trying to be whole, trying to be in alignment, trying to be prosperity, why don't you simply go to the assumption that you are made in the perfect image of God? That you are always in alignment no matter what. Right. If your thoughts create reality, if your expectations and your beliefs, then what are you working for? Right? We come down this spiritual path and all these people are telling you to embody something. What does embody mean? What does that mean? But to tell a certain story of something. Seek ye first the kingdom and all things will be added. Seek ye first the knowing that you are source, that you are the temple of the Most High, and then allow everything that you desire to be added onto you, right? This is not a game of striving, y'all. Trying to embody something, walking around trying to conjure up a feeling. The heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it, right? Your feelings are, what are your feelings? They're a record of the past. They're your emotional guidance system, just pointing you towards what you used to believe. That's all. You walk into a situation and boom, emotion comes out of nowhere. You get stuck in traffic. You wake up and the weather's cloudy. You get bad news. Boom, you're in a bad mood. Does that make you out of alignment? No. Right? Does that make you out of alignment? Of course not. Of course not. What is it that actually makes you out of alignment? It's that you say that. It's your words. It's your declaration. It's your decrees. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Right? My word that leaves my mouth, it will not come back to me empty. It will not come back to me empty. You are the one who makes the rules. So when you're sitting around saying, oh shit, I'm sad, I'm not in alignment anymore, guess what? That's you. You're saying that. Okay? You are saying that, all right? So imagination, the eye of God within. Imagination is not a childish fantasy. It is the divine intelligence within you creating blueprints for your future. When you imagine with intention, you are writing scripture upon the heart of time. Your visions are sacred scrolls. Your assumptions are incantations, right? I had to update this. We've graduated. Your assumptions are incantations. Your joy is prophetic. Your alignment is the temple in which God builds through you. Quote by Paramahansa Yogananda, to imagine is to see with the eyes of God. To imagine is to see with the eyes of God. Right? One of the more beautiful quotes that I love, right, is, I look for God outside of me and I found nothing but myself. Right? You're looking for God out there somewhere, you find nothing but yourself. You find nothing but a world that reflects you back at you. Right? As you're looking for God, right, God is watching you, looking as you, watching as you, while you're looking for God. But when I go within myself, I found nothing but God. Right? When I start to go within myself, I found nothing but God, nothing but the infinite. Okay? Nothing but an unconditionally loving creator. Okay? Luke 17:21, the kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. And then another quote, God sleeps in the rock, dreams in the plant, stirs in the animal, and awakens in man. Really, this is a profound quote, and we did a breakdown. I think we did actually a whole discussion on this specific quote. God sleeps in the rock, dreams in the plant, stirs in the animal, and awakens in man. And what this is talking about is the interconnectedness of everything, how nothing is separated from anything, okay? The same way that you have a masculine and a feminine part of you, right? The rock does as well. The plant does as well. The animal does as well. So even looking at nature, you get a blueprint of how to be, of how to get connected to source, right? You can learn how to sleep from the rock. You can learn how to rest by observing the rock, right? You can learn diligence, patience from watching a river, watching a stream of water, a road, rocks over time. Okay? And then it says what? God dreams in the plant. God begins to wake up a little bit in the plant, right? Stirs in the animal, right? You see animals that move off pure, what's the word? I don't say pure instincts. Pure instincts, right? The instincts of the divine. And then in man, we have the opportunity to actually awaken fully, to become conscious beings. Right? And so intuition, the whisper of the infinite, the voice of intuition is not loud. It does not argue. It does not panic. It whispers in stillness, often sounding like peace. Okay, so the voice of intuition. To dream with God is to trust this whisper over the roar of fear. It is to tune your soul to the music only silence can play. It is to follow what makes you feel more alive, even if it makes no sense. Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. Appreciate you. Be still and know that I am God, right? Another quote from Rumi, your heart knows the way, run in that direction. Your heart knows the way, run in that direction. And finally, a good old Einstein quote, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a what? Faithful servant. Don't allow your rational mind to be the master. All right. So feeling, the language of manifestation. God speaks not only in words, but in frequencies. What you feel deeply, you attract magnetically. Thank you. Please request. Okay, cool. Not because the world bends to your emotions, but because your inner world casts the spell of your reality, right? Not because the world bends to your emotions. Not because reality directly reflects your emotions, no. But because your inner world casts the spell of your reality. All right. So to feel conviction before the manifestation is to prophesy it into being, right? Remember, when I talk about, these feelings, I'm talking about that conviction. I'm talking about I refuse to think a different way. I refuse to believe it's not going to work out. Even if doubt pops up, even if the feeling of doubt pops up, guess what? The conviction that it's all going to work out is still stronger. That story that I'm telling is still stronger. Okay? So to feel gratitude before the answer is to kneel before the throne of divine timing. To feel abundance before the money is to prove you've already found the kingdom. So Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. All right? And so, all right, we're about to get into the juicy part. All right, so surrendering personal force and trusting divine flow. You were not made to force. You were made to flow. Right? Flow is going to be one of the best decisions for you to make. It's to go with the flow of life. It's to begin to set your intentions, know what you want. Stop trying to figure out the middle, let it work itself out, and then just go with the flow. Right? If it's been so realistic in imagination that we know we have it, well, should we just go with the flow? Just continue to ride that wave, right? Do your best, do the best that you can in every moment. Bless every decision that you make is perfect. Remember, it is the knowing that creates the way. When I stay in the end, guess what? The path that I'm on, the infinite paths to get to that end all show up. They all show up. When I stay in the end, it is going to the end and knowing I've seen it. I already know it's how I've already seen the end of the movie. That is what actually creates the means. So just enjoy the ride there. That's what you're meant to do, is enjoy the ride there. All right. So efforting and striving. Efforting and striving are symptoms of forgetfulness. But dreaming with God is remembering. You are the source. You are the stream. You are not the doer. You are the vessel. You are the vessel of the doer. Okay? You are not the plan. You are the prophecy becoming flesh. Let it be done through you, not by you. Let it be done through you, not by you. Let the vision breathe. Let it mature in silence. Let the fruit ripen on divine timing's tree. You already have it. You already have it. Allow it to unfold. Let the manifestation breathe, y'all. All right. So Zechariah 4:6, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. I love that. I love that. Zechariah 4:6, not by might. Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. And then that same quote that we started off with by Lao Tzu, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. And I'm going to read this again, okay? Because this is a profound statement. Lao Tzu speaks here of surrendering the illusion of identity. What we've been told we are, what we've adopted to survive, what ego clings to in fear of death. Okay? The ego constructs a self based on separation. I am my name, my pain, my past, my status, but that I is fragile, limited, and rooted in comparison. To let go of what you think you are is to peel back the mask and remember the eternal self beneath it. It is a return and not a becoming. You do not become divine. You can't become what you already were born as. You remember that you already are. You don't become worthy. You don't become prosperity. You don't have to try to learn how to walk around and be prosperous. You just have to be yourself. Just be yourself. And expect prosperity. Know that you are prosperity, right? So believing that you are broken, unworthy, or lacking isn't humility. It is spiritual amnesia. It is agreeing to play a role that denies your origin. You are not your wounds. You are the light that has been buried beneath them. Lack is not your truth. It is a costume worn by a soul that forgot its source. To let go of the false self is to stop pretending, to stop performing the identity of not enough. In that release, what remains is pure potential. The more you let go, the more divine you get, right? This is why even not giving a fuck is so powerful. The more you let go, the more divine you are, the less you cling to the rules of society, the rules of your parents, the rules of the ego, believing in separation, and striving and working and trying to embody worthiness. The more you drop that, right? What remains is pure potential. Your core, right? That I amness within you. The more you can flow through life, Come back to that awareness that you are source. The more you can stay in your body, stay present, enjoy life, the more beautiful it is, okay? The divine doesn't need to be added to you. It simply needs to be unveiled. You're not adding God to you. God is already there. You're more God than you are you. You're only 0.0001% matter and human. The rest of you is energy and information. And the rest of you is source. You're more God than human, right? But we believe the stories of our ego so much that we walk around embodying what? Separation, lack. Anything that your ego says or anything that you believe or expect or think that's not a way that you would define God, it's false. It's false. Would you say God has had a past of lack? You look at your bank account, you say, I just had a past of lack. Would you say that about God? No. You've just been pretending to be something that you are not. You've never been in lack. You've always had the infinite abundance of the divine within you. You've just been remembering who you are incorrectly. You've never been unloved. You've never been betrayed. Life has just always been a perfect reflection. I know. I feel like sometimes when I say that, we need to have a group hug, right? Everybody hug yourself, pat yourself on the back. It's okay. You were never unloved. You were never betrayed. You were never abandoned. Life was just a perfect reflection. And the more that you were looking for love in the mirror, guess what? The more you got frustrated at the mirror for not reflecting something that you did not embody. But that God within you has loved you unconditionally so much that whatever you have expected, whatever story that you were telling and decreeing, it was being reflected outside of you. That is unconditional love. You've always had a source, a provider within you ready to give you whatever. Ready to give you everything. Right? The more that you love on yourself, the more that you walk in awareness, right? And you care about yourself, you care about your life so much that you refuse to let these moments slip by without you being aware and conscious of the story that you're telling, the more your life is going to follow. You were never meant to be a beggar. Your divine design is not to experience lack. That's why I feel so uncomfortable to you, because it's not who you are. Your divine design is to experience nothing but the God that you are. Your divine design you should be allergic to lack. You shouldn't see lack. You should not be able to identify with lack, identify with loss, identify with betrayal. What do you mean? You are source. You are the source of this. Okay? So living as a dreamer, to dream with the divine is to no longer separate your spiritual life from your desires. There's a big one. There's a big one. To dream with God is to no longer separate your spiritual life from your desires. It is to trust that what you long for is not vain, it is divine. It is the fingerprint of your purpose. It is the echo of your soul remembering Eden, right? Remember, we've talked about Eden from a purely metaphysical sense. We did a discussion where we talked about 8 different meanings of the Garden of Eden, right? One of those is what? The unity of the Garden of Eden. The fall, the descending into duality, being kicked out of Eden, right? You can think of Eden as kind of your consciousness. Let's talk about Eden in this perspective today, all right? When you're in that garden, communing with the divine, right? You don't worry about anything, right? Adam and Eve, right? Let's take them as literal people this time, okay? For fun. Adam and Eve are walking around, they didn't want for anything. They didn't even know they were naked. They had no sense of judging any situation as right or wrong. This is what is represented by the tree of good, of knowledge of good and evil. Of knowledge of good and evil, right? They descended into duality. The death was to unity or oneness, right? So it's something that we're constantly striving for. So they had no desires. Everything provided for everything. Okay, so this is one of the examples of the meanings of the Garden of Eden. Right, it's just pure bliss, pure reality creation with that God within you. Right? So let your vision. This is actually a good one. Let your vision be big enough to scare your ego. Let's talk about that, right? Because this actually relates back to the verse we talked about earlier, which was, where was it? Jeremiah 33:3. Where the hell was it? Did I already go past it? Did I already forget what I was on a different lecture? What the hell? Oh, it's right here. Okay, Jeremiah 33:3. Yeah, I'm not tripping. I know I didn't have anything to drink today. Jeremiah 33:3. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. Which thou knowest not, right? So that actually goes back to it. And I ain't gonna lie, I kind of forgot what I was talking about again. All right, let me get my shit together. Let your vision. All right, I'm good now. I ain't tripping no more. Okay. Let your vision be big enough to scare your ego. One of the things that's always interesting, I talk to a lot of clients with, is like, you know what is beautiful about bigger dreams? It's that bigger dreams just force you to expect more in your day-to-day life anyway. Why dream small when you can dream big? Typically what happens, even from a physical perspective, let's try to make this practical. Let's say that you dream about receiving $1,000. Okay. All right. I mean, you can already practically think about how you could receive $1,000, right? You could probably think of multiple ways. Okay. So you're walking through life. You know, you're expecting things, but if I'm expecting $1,000, I'm probably not expecting 20,000. Okay. Now, if I got 100, I'd be like, oh my God, it's on the way there. But my expectations are in alignment with my large desire, right? That $1,000. Now let's say that you walked around expecting $1 million. Let's say you walked around expecting $1 million. Right? Your expectations will be larger as you go through life. So when we went back to this scripture, that Jeremiah 33:3, okay? And it says, call unto me and I will answer thee and show thee great and mighty things, or inaccessible and fortified things, right? Just that term, inaccessible and fortified, seems a little bit out of reach. Seems wondrous, a little mystical, right? Why not make your dream so large that you have no choice but to drown out the ego? Right? Well, the ego has these little fears. You are sitting and you are expecting, dreaming of large things. Right? So let me get back to where I was. All right. Speak what you see in the spirit. Feel what you have yet to touch. Move like the outcome is already done. And remember, God is not watching you dream. God is dreaming through you. So Psalm 37:4, delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Right? Another quote by Neville. The dream is the evidence of the thing unseen. Why are we saying that? The dream is the evidence of the thing unseen. Neville is directly just paraphrasing scripture right here. Faith is the evidence. Faith is the evidence of the thing. The evidence of things hoped for. Well, that is what your faith is. It's actually what makes up everything. All right, so another divine quote that we're going to break down here is, you are the secret of God's secret, the mirror in which the divine sees its own face. All right, you are the secret of God's secret, the mirror in which the divine sees its own face. Profound. You are not separate from the divine, but an emanation of it, crafted not just by God, but as a revelation of God. You are not merely a creation, you are a reflection, a portal through which the infinite gazes back upon itself. The secret of God's secret means that your very essence, hear this, the secret of God's secret means that your very essence carries a mystery too sacred for language, a divinity so hidden even the heavens tremble to speak it. You are the echo of God's own being, a living expression of divine wonder placed in flesh to awaken to itself. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right? The secret of God's secret means that your very essence carries a mystery too sacred for language, a divinity so hidden even the heavens tremble to speak it. You are the echo of God's own being, a living expression of divine wonder placed in flesh to awaken to itself. You are placed in flesh to awaken to your damn self, right? So oftentimes we'll say, what? Well, God came down here, incarnated within you to get to know itself. What's a different way to say it? Your divine ass came down here, was made incarnate down here to experience the unfolding and get to know yourself. Point blank period. Point blank period. When the mystic says you are the mirror, it means you were designed to reflect the beauty, love, wisdom, and power of the infinite back into the world. But guess what? A mirror only reflects clearly when it is what? Still. When it is not clouded by ego, fear, or false identity. The more you cleanse yourself of illusion, the more God sees God in you. The more you cleanse yourself of what you are not, the more God can see himself in you, or itself in you, the more that you can see yourself in you, right? However you want to put it, right? Semantics, however you want to put it, okay? So if you know yourselves, right, this is from the Gospel of Thomas, if you know yourselves, then you will be known, and you will understand that you are children of the living Father. But if you do not know yourselves, then you live in poverty, and you are that poverty. How could you be anything less than an aspect of what you are made of? You are made of the divine source. So how could you be in poverty? The only reason you could be in poverty is if you do not know who you are. You don't know yourself. If you know yourselves, then you will be known. And you will understand that you are children of the living Father. But if you do not know yourselves, then you live in poverty, and you are the poverty. If you don't go within, if you don't know yourself as the creator, if you don't know that you are your expectations, your assumptions, your beliefs, your faith, then you will always create poverty, right? You will sit around begging, pleading for things to change, expecting the worst, telling sad ass stories that benefit nothing but your ego. Right? You will live in poverty, and you are the poverty. Okay? So you are the site where divinity incarnates, where heaven meets earth. Remember, you are the intersection between divinity and identity. You are not here to search for God. You are here to remember that you are what God placed in time to witness eternity through form. To witness eternity through form. You are a divine self-discovery cloaked in humanity. Right? You are a divine self-discovery cloaked in humanity. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, reflection questions. We got 4. And then we got 4. And then we got affirmations. All right, number 1. What dream in your heart feels both impossible and inevitable? Is there a dream in your heart that feels both impossible and inevitable? That's the dream to hold on to. That is the dream to hold on to. Number two, this one is important. This is a very important question. Honestly, why I like these reflection questions is because I typically will be going about my day and I'll have these questions. I'll just have these questions. But number two, right? In what ways are you still trying to force instead of flow? Even that, right? So remember, you saying that you're holding yourself back subconsciously, that's simply a story. That's simply a decree that you're making right now. Right? Let's get in. We can get into that. Okay, so yeah, number two, my bad. In what ways are you still trying to force instead of flow? And these can be very subtle ways, right? It can be, what do you believe alignment is? Do you believe if you feel good, you're in alignment? If you don't feel good, you're not in alignment? Do you believe if you feel good, you're in alignment? If you don't feel good, you're not in alignment? Do you believe if you react a certain way, you're not in alignment? Remember, these are just stories. These are just things that you're saying, right? So let's talk about that. So not doing isn't due to a story. Not doing isn't due to a story. Everything is so even when we talk about doing and not doing, right? Remember, when I go to the end, I already have it. Okay? When I go to the end and I decide that I already have it, that is how the way is made. That's how the path is made, right? I am the path. I am the truth. I am the way, right? God is the way. Your I am awareness is the way. You declaring what you are, that is the way to actually get there. So once I declare it, what actually happens? Once I declare it, what actually happens? This is where the ego comes in. And the ego says, oh, I have to do this or I have to do that. You simply have to do what you believe is best in the next moment. Whether that's resting, whether that's reading, whether that's studying, whether that's working out, right? But here's the thing. If you already have something, okay, let's give a basic example. Let's say you already have something. You've declared that you already have it. And now you're walking through life and something happens. And it looks unfavorable. And you say, okay, I have to react this way to it to get it. That doesn't even make sense. How, if you already have it, why do you have to act a certain way to get it? Okay? If you already have something, what does it matter what you do right now? Why don't you simply just do what is best? Simply make the best decision. Remember, all of these stories that we're telling, right? Me sitting here and be like, okay, yeah, I know that I'm prosperous. I know that I'm prosperous. I know that God is within me. But there's something in my subconscious holding me back. Your subconscious, it accepts everything that you tell it. It's you, right? This is your mind. Even the thought that we have to reprogram it. Maybe I need a better example. But even the statement that I have to reprogram my subconscious mind, that in itself is a story that right now I'm not in alignment. And anything that declares that I'm not in alignment is a lie. That is a lie. Right? That is a lie. That's where the work is, okay? If you say you're in alignment and all of a sudden you have different thoughts that are pushing you, right, to not feel like you're in alignment, that's where the work is, okay? Well, why am I identifying with those thoughts? Why don't I remember the truth that I already am that, right? And then I just do what is best, moment by moment. Moment by moment. I'm about to get to. So what do I mean by what? I want to make sure I hit this point because this one is important. Because this ties back into that number two. In what ways are you still trying to force instead of flow, right? If I'm walking through life and I believe I have to work to get in alignment, I believe I have to do things to get things, in the physical reality to get things, well, I'm making the law. I'm always creating the law. I'm not necessarily saying to live every moment as your last, but I am saying to live every moment as if it's the only place that you have power, because it is. It's the only place that you have power. No, I didn't say no action. I did not say no action. But okay, this is what I'm saying, all right? That's what I'm saying. Once you declare that you have something, okay, at that point, it does not matter what you do. Okay? It does not matter what you do. Now, what should you do? Whatever you think is best logically. Whatever you think is best logically. So what is the difference between inspired action? What is the difference between inspired action and forcing? Okay, flow and forcing. Well, when I'm flowing, I already know I have something. I already know who I am. I am the creator. I've already blessed that whatever I do next is the right decision. Whatever I do next, my prosperity will flow through it. You can only do what you can do in the next step. Why not bless everything as the perfect step to get to what you want? And then just make the best decisions. We are the ones who get caught up in the middle of our plan thinking, okay, did I do this right? Do I have to do more? Should I do less? All these things are just stories. Just walk through life, knowing that you have it and allow everything to unfold. Just flow with life. If opportunities are presented to you, bless them. This was presented to me. Why? I don't know, but I'm going to make a decree right now. This is presented to me. And so I'm going to do the best that I can in it, knowing that it will lead me to what I need to go or where I need to go. I declare that this is going to be the perfect opportunity. What if you're confused about two paths? You don't know whether to take path A or path B. Bless one and take it. Bless one and take it. Trust that if you're not supposed to go down that direction, the door will close and you will be rerouted. Start looking at everything is for you. Don't be so concerned on exactly what it is, right? Remember, there's always something that you can do, but there's nothing that you absolutely need to do to get it. If you already have it, how can there be something that you need to do to get it? That makes no sense. Declare that you have the thing. Experience life and allow it to unfold. Whatever shows up, whatever opportunities, if you feel called to take them, take them. If you don't want to take them, take them. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know if I should have taken it or maybe I should have, I don't know. Bless your decision as perfect, knowing that because I am in the end, there are infinite ways I can get this, right? I know, and I tell this story quite often, right? One of the clients that I worked with, right, needed money, a large amount of money. Had no idea how to get it. Wasn't interested in working either. Simply refused to tell the story that they didn't have it. One day they had people over. All right? All those people left and they found a lottery ticket, scratch off in the crib. Called all of the people to see whose scratch off it was. It was none of theirs. Everybody denied it. And with that scratch off, won more money than she needed. This is how incredible things can unfold for you. I've told the story about me, how I don't know how the money showed up, but somehow my situation was paid off. Didn't know what to do, but refused to think otherwise, right? You go to the end and you stay there and then you just do what is best in your reality. Here's another thing, right? Typically, if you are expecting a lot of logical things, guess what's going to happen to you? A bunch of logical things. If you're walking around expecting miracles, guess what's going to happen to you? A whole bunch of miracles. Just go to the end and stay there. The middle is not your concern. It's not your responsibility. You have no say-so in how it unfolds. Doesn't matter what you do. If you need to get out the house and you refuse to today, guess what? Somebody's going to blow up your phone and make you. Something is going to make you get out and do what you have to do. Stop worrying about the middle. Go to the end and stay in the end. Go to the end, sit your ass down. And just flow through life. Make it your priority to be in flow, to make the next best decision. If you're confused, bless your decision as right. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. And continue to roll through life. Just do the best you can, knowing that it's all perfect. Why? Because God is within you. If you are in the end, there are infinite ways, literally infinite. Count to infinity. This is how many ways there are to get to what you want. You can't count there. So what business do you have on trying to control exactly how it unfolds? Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I don't know if I should do this. I get confused about this. Then stop. Then just stop getting confused and start decreeing that the decision that you make is perfect. Just say it. Your words are your power. Your perspective is your power. Your perspective is your power. Yes, I do. I love Florence. But I like most of what Florence teaches, most of it, right? And that's the thing about the reality creation space is that you got to find what works for you, right? Y'all gonna hear what I say, you're gonna hear what other people say, you're gonna find what works for you, because it's you that is creating your reality. So, yes, indeed, go to the end, sit your ass down. All right. So that was number 2. In what ways are you still trying to force instead of flow? Now, like I said, this can be subtle. Force instead of flow could be instead of flowing with the knowing that I already am in perfect alignment because God is within me. I could never be anything less than perfect because I'm the perfect vessel of the divine. I'm the perfect vessel of the divine. So instead of me thinking that, what am I thinking? I'm saying, well, I might have to reprogram the subconscious. Or I have other things that I'm worried about, or I don't know which way to go, right? Simply make a choice. Know that it is perfect because you are perfect. Don't care what the situation looks like. Situation might not look perfect, but I am. But the God within me is. So it must be perfect. This is not just a decree or a statement or a declaration to use when you see things that are unfavorable. This is a declaration to use in all aspects of your life. I don't care what the situation looks like. It's perfect because I am perfect. Right? When I walk into this situation, I bring the divine with me. I bring God with me. No matter what I see, if it looks unfavorable, guess what is with me? God. And then my awareness, whatever I decree that this situation is, that's what it is. Stop creating a reality where you have to reprogram things. Stop creating a reality where you're not in alignment. Stop creating a reality where you can make mistakes and just know that it's all perfect. Just know that it's all perfect. Of course, I consider sharing my story. I do share it a lot. But any other book suggestions? Any Dr. Joe Dispenza book. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Becoming Supernatural, Neville Goddard books, Power of Awareness. Of course, I was gonna say Game of Life and How to Play, but you already know that one. When it comes to money consciousness, wealth consciousness, prosperity consciousness, right? Dr. Robert Russell, You Too Can Be Prosperous, game changer for me. I'm in Dallas, good old Dallas. All right. And so number three, what conviction can you begin to cultivate now to align with your desired reality? What core belief, what core assumption, what core story, what core thought can you begin to cultivate now to align with your desired reality? I am that I am no matter what. I am perfect no matter what. It's all unfolding for me perfectly no matter what. No matter what. No matter what. What conviction can you begin to cultivate now to align with your desired reality? Okay. These questions today, I like them because, they really cause you to take an honest look at yourself. Where have I been limiting myself? Remember, because this is the game of you versus you. Nothing has power over you except if you give it. That's why even Jesus said that, right? You have no power over me if not given to you from above. Meaning if my awareness, right? Because God is consciousness, God is awareness. If my consciousness, if my awareness does not give this power, then it has no power over me. You are perfect. You are perfect, all right? And number 4, last but certainly not least, if you truly believed God was dreaming through you, how would you walk, speak, and create differently? If you truly believe that God was dreaming through you, how would you walk, speak, and create differently? If you truly believed it, how would you walk, speak, and create differently? Maybe you'd be a little bit more disciplined with your stories. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Make it mine. It's wonderful. Right? If you truly believe God was dreaming through you, right? If we lived as it, I'm saying not just, maybe in theory that's true, but if you truly believed it. If you knew that you were the temple, that God was within you, that you and the divine were one. If you knew that every time you went into your thoughts, you were speaking with God. Every time you spoke, you were the expression of God. How would you speak? How would you hold yourself? How would you walk? How conscious, how aware would you be of yourself? Right? Yeah, it's easy to praise God when we think God is outside of us in the sky, right? But how do you act when you know that you are the temple, you are the house of the divine? How would you speak to others? How would you see others? Would you be slower to anger with others? Would you choose to see people perfectly so the perfect version of them could actually step forward? Or remember, the more that we step into this divinity, we change the entire world. When you begin to see people as the divinity that they are, now you give them energetically, you give them the space to actually step forward as that person, which is such a profound statement. Is that when you begin to walk as the creator, when you begin to embody this and look outside of you and see nothing but God, and then go within yourself and see nothing but God, you allow a greater version of everybody to step forward, which is so beautiful. Okay? So now we got some affirmations, y'all. Some affirmations to end this discussion on. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. I think it's 9 actually. I think 9 of them. 10 of them. So go on and sit back. Remember, these are not affirmations that you're trying to be. You're not trying to be anything. How can you try to be what you already are? You are remembering that you already are these things. Remember that you already are these things, okay? So number 1, I no longer answer to names that shrink me. I am who God says I am, infinite, eternal, and whole. I no longer answer to names that shrink me. I am who God says I am, infinite, eternal, and whole. Beautiful. Beautiful. Number 2, I release every label that was placed on me in fear. I walk only in the truth that was born of light. Yeah, I release every label that was placed on me in fear. I walk only in the truth that was born of light. I walk only in the truth. Right? Release everything, you know what I'm saying? Every label that was placed on me in fear. Apologize to yourself. Forgive yourself. Make that decree, right? Don't get angry at yourself for thinking like that. Simply forgive yourself and say, I no longer live there. I'm no longer that person. I'm no longer bow to fear. I'm no longer consumed by fear. Right? Number 3, no voice, not a single one. No voice that tries to make me small can hold weight. I am the voice of the I am. I am the voice of the I am. No voice that tries to make me small can hold weight, because I am the voice of the I am. Cool. That was cool. Let other people argue for their limitations. You have none. Let's turn it into one of my favorite things to say when we get on these trains. Let other people argue for their limitations. You have none. Right? You have none. Next up. I do not conform to broken systems or shrunken beliefs. I live from the throne within. I do not conform to broken systems or shrunken beliefs. I live from the throne within. It's a conversation platform. What you mean? It's like, I'm always open to have conversations. I just, some days I get in the flow and I try to get through everything quick. And then we have the discussions later. Some days I'm more easily distracted. What does it mean? No weapon formed against me shall prosper? Sure, it means that. Not a word that anyone said. Okay, nothing against my perception of myself will prosper. Nothing but the God within me can prosper, right? No lack can overcome me. No circumstance, no situation that I see, right? So we think of a weapon, when we think about this in a metaphysical sense, okay? What is my weapon? Okay, my weapon's my word, my perspective, okay? So nobody else's word or perspective has any weight over me. You can say whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Get your voodoo dial and do whatever. It has no power over me, okay? Right? Because I do not give it power. Because I do not give it power, right? Don't care what the circumstance looks like. It can look like failure. You can say it looks like failure. I don't care. The God within me is perfect, so the situation must be unfolding perfectly. It must be working for me perfectly. It must be unfolding perfectly. Has no choice. Has no choice. Okay. So nothing against me, right? You can have no power over me if not given from above. All right, next up. Every lie I believed about who I was dissolves in the fire of remembrance. The moment that I declare that I am source, the moment I remember, every false belief about myself is burned away. Every false timeline is burned away. Every false past is burned away. Everything that is not of source is burned away. It falls away. It cannot stay here. It cannot stay here. Every lie I believed about who I was dissolves in the fire of remembrance. Next up. Okay. I walk in the fullness of Christ consciousness. I walk in the fullness of Christ consciousness. Beyond doctrine, beyond dogma, beyond fear. Fear can't live here. Right? I have a personal relationship with the Creator. I have a personal relationship with my divinity, knowing that I can call upon it whenever, and it will never fail. I walk in the fullness of Christ consciousness. I know that me and you are one. There is no me and you. There's simply we, right? There is no out there. There's no in here. There is just me. We are all one, right? I walk in the fullness of Christ consciousness, beyond doctrine, beyond dogma, beyond fear. Next up. Still got 3 more. Get comfortable. I am no longer bound by inherited identity. I am no longer bound by inherited identity. I am the revelation of divine authorship. I am no longer bound by inherited identity. I am the revelation of divine authorship. Let whoever say whatever. Let whoever think whatever. Let the situation be whatever it looks like. But you are the revelation of divine authorship. All right, let's say it again because that's profound. I am no longer bound by inherited identity. I am the revelation of divine authorship. What is inherited identity? Nothing outside of me. Nothing outside of me can tell me who I am. Nothing. I transcend all labels. Right? Yeah, my zodiac might have gave me a little bit of information about, some things I had to work through from past lives or whatever situation, but I transcend that. Therapists can tell me whatever, I transcend that. The circumstance can look like whatever, but guess what? I walk with God. So when I speak to that situation, guess what? I transcend that. I transcend that. I am no longer bound by inherited identity. Nobody can tell me shit about me. Nobody can tell you shit about you. You are the fullness of the divine. Okay? Next up, two more. I do not belong to the world's perception. I don't belong to the world's perception. I belong to truth, and truth has set me free. I do not belong to the world's perception. I belong to truth, and truth has set me free. Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And what to do if I'm doubting the existence of the law of assumption? Well, allow the ego mind to do whatever. Allow it to doubt. Allow it to fight. Allow it to fear. Allow it to do whatever. The only thing that is true about life is the story that you are telling, right? It's a story that you are telling. So simply go beyond that and you tell the story of what you want to experience. What do you want to experience? And you stay faithful to that story, right? Nobody can teach you about the law but you. Nobody can prove it to you but you, right? Like nobody can create your reality for you. You are going to be the one who has to put it to the test, right? So it's not my job to convince you, it's your job to convince yourself. Right? This is just, it's just a little appetizer. You're going to get this information, but you have to walk your own path. Right? You are the one who has to walk your own path. Right? And number 10, I carry the likeness of God. I no longer settle for anything less than glory. And why I tell y'all, right, do this like your life depends on it is because when this law really started working for me, when did it work for me? It was not until I had to do it like my life depended on it. I had no other way. I had no other way. I did not know how to get $8,000 with no job in a handful of days. I had no idea how to do that. I couldn't borrow that shit from anybody. Nobody. I asked. I tried. I did what I thought was right, but I stayed in that story that I have it. It's all unfolding for me. I already have it. Everything is taking me there. And then it showed up out of nowhere. And since that day, I've been a believer. And I live my life by it, right? And my life is transformed in every way. Money's transformed. My relationship with my family, with friends is transformed. Everything. I live life on my own terms now. Everything is divine now. And failure is just impossible. But no one can prove it to you but you. The thing is, though, why I try to put things in kind of a very easy way to understand is because we go through life and we have thoughts and assumptions about life anyway. We already walk through life expecting things, whether it's expecting somebody to do you right, whether it's expecting people to show up like this, whether it's expecting that meeting that you're about to clock into at work to unfold like this. You're always having expectations. So why not at the very least start to expect better for yourself? Have better expectations about what is possible in your life. Right? Like I always say, right? The least that'll happen is you'll feel better. The very least is you'll feel better. But that won't be the very least, because you'll start to learn very, very quickly that it is your consciousness that creates reality. It's your awareness that creates all of this. Right? It's your awareness that creates all of this. So the last one, right? It was, I carry the likeness of God. I carry the likeness of God. I no longer settle for anything less than glory. I no longer settle for anything less than glory. All right? So that was the end of today's discussion, y'all. Let's talk. If y'all got questions, let's talk. I should have checked, while y'all are typing questions. Sometimes y'all get shy. Sometimes y'all have questions. Man, I was trying to see what Tesla was going to do for earnings. And then I saw Tesla spiked up. And then, it initially spiked up and now it's down to hell. What the hell? What the hell? That probably means, I wonder what the S&P is doing. No, it's not doing anything. It's just stuck in the same spot. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. Blessings, blessings. All right, what about guilt? Let me see if I missed anything first. Neoed it. It's a powerful thing to do, man. Just simply say no. Just simply tell it no. Nah. All right, what about guilt? What do you want to talk about when it comes to guilt? It's just a human emotion. And remember, human emotions don't have the power to create your reality unless what? You give them the power. Unless you decree that, right? Your guilt, your feeling, any feeling that you're feeling is just it's just meant to give you feedback on what you have been believing. You've been thinking like this, you've had expectations like this, you've seen things like this, and now you have this feeling that shows up. It's just giving you proof. So you have to ask yourself, what do I have to believe to be true to feel this way? What do you have to believe about your guilt? What do you have to believe to be true to feel guilty? Okay? And once you start answering that question, now you can get to the bottom of it. I always say the same thing. There is an exercise in tech. Whenever I was working in tech, we used to do an exercise called a root cause analysis. If there was an issue in the network, we do a root cause analysis so we can fix it. So we fix the issue, and then we try to fix the root cause. And so we had an exercise called the 5 whys. If there's a problem, you ask why 5 times. No, we had this issue. Well, why? Because of this. Why? Because of this. Why? Because of this. So typically, if you cannot answer any more times, or you get to number 5, you're typically at the root cause. Ask yourself these questions. What do I have to believe to be true to feel guilty? Somewhere along the line, you might get to a point where you're like, oh, well, I just don't think God is a forgiving God. Maybe that seems like a stretch, but at the root of it, that's probably what it is. And so internally, you feel guilt because it's separation. Okay? And because of that separation, you feel like you're less than or unworthy, right? Or it ties to your self-concept in some way. You feel like you're missing out on blessings or prosperity or something. But hear this, right? You are still worthy of everything, no matter what you're feeling. Thinking that guilt or a feeling holds me back, I mean, that's like saying that only people that can get the things that they want in life are people that never feel guilty, are people that never have feelings. Or saying there's people that are only the perfect people that do right by everybody can get what they want. Do you think that's true? That only the perfect people that do right by everybody live the life that they want? No, of course you don't believe that. You probably thought of 3 people in your mind right now. It was like, man, I hate him. That's not the case. So the only person that makes a feeling a prison is us. We're the ones who give it power. All right? We're the ones who give it power. How did I learn how to trade? Good old YouTube. I learned on YouTube, man. I was studying. I trade ICT concepts. So at first, when I first got into the market, I was just trading things that didn't work for me. Trend lines and support and resistance, things like that. I couldn't really get it. I needed a better way to see the market. So I went through a lot of his videos. He has all his videos for free on YouTube. And that gave me a better understanding of market structure, used that, created my own kind of strategy from it. And I've been rolling ever since. But yeah. In my opinion, what is my opinion on things that you try to manifest, but they, oh shit, it disappeared. Things that I try to manifest, but they don't happen. Who says they don't happen? Who says they don't happen? So you gave up. You said it's not unfolding anymore. It's not happening. I mean, like, that's the only way that it can go, right? Either you say you have it and you get it, or you say you don't have it, and so you don't get it, right? It's one of those two things. It's one of those two things, right? So just you, like, why do I think things don't happen? I don't know. I don't have that experience because I stay faithful to the end, go to the end and stay there. How can you say that you try to manifest something and now you're saying it didn't happen? How do you know it didn't happen? You're still in the middle. Either you've been making a bunch of rules that is keeping it away from you, right? Or you've just given up altogether and now you're telling the story of you don't have it. Like, remember, if you look out in your reality and you don't see what you want, it's still just unfolding. It's still just unfolding. How do we know something into reality? To know something is simply to tell the same story over and over again. So to know something in the reality is to set your mind on it and decide that you are not going to ever tell a story that's against what you want. That's it. Very simple process. I know that I have it. I go to the end, and now everything that I see in the middle is just evidence that it is unfolding for me. It's like in the anime One Piece. How there's multiple ways to get to the red line. Exactly. Something that I thought about on what was said earlier. One Piece, such a great anime. It's not Attack on Titan, but it's up there. Yeah, there's multiple ways to get to the red line, right? Even the live action one was pretty good as well. I liked the casting. I liked how they were trying to recreate it. I'm very interested to see if they'll continue that and for how long they'll continue it. But yeah, there's multiple ways, right? There's infinite ways to get to your destination by staying in the end. We give up because we look at reality and it's just unfolding for us, and then our words curse it. We begin to curse reality and say, oh, I don't have it. It didn't work. It's not working out. It's just unfolding. Who told you that you don't have it? Why do you believe that? Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you, Miss Lindsay. Thank you for tuning in. Truly, truly appreciate it. What do I think of tarot cards? They're cool. They're all good. They're cool. I mean, I don't use them. I don't use them. I mean, here's the thing, right? Is your future, your past and your future are changing in every moment based on who you're being right now. So even if somebody tells you something about your future, they're only doing it from the energy that you're putting off right now. But you can change that. You can change your projection by changing your perspective, right? Everything's new in every moment. You can always change the story. You're not a prisoner to anything. So, of course, you can read people's energy, but you can only read their energy based on the projection from where they are right now. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. It was specific in the time past. I mean, okay, the only reason that you say that you have a deadline, what a deadline implies that you don't have something. Okay, the story that I just told about this woman I was working with, and She was in the same position. She had a deadline. She had a deadline. It finally just said, you know what, I'm tired of trying. I have this and I refuse to think otherwise. I have it and there is no deadline. And guess what happened? The deadline actually came and went and then nothing happened. Nothing happened. And so she booked another appointment. And so we were talking and she told me straight up, look, deadline passed, but nothing's happened, but I know that everything is working out. I already know that I'm going to get it. And lo and behold, what happened is she got exactly what she needed. Never too late. It is us. It is us who are telling the story about deadlines. It wouldn't exist without your awareness. And so, honestly, we as humans, as people, one thing that we always have to struggle with, or we have to combat with our ego, is we tend to believe that our situation is absolutely unique. Like, no, you just don't understand. This is my situation, and this is what it is. Your reality is only your awareness. So what you put your awareness on is what your reality is. There is no deadline. There is no deadline. The only way there could be a deadline is if you did not have something. If you don't have it, of course there's a deadline. But if you have it, there is none. And so, yes, sometimes it can be, a little bit difficult for the logical mind to wrap itself around that. But also even understand from another perspective, linear time is just the unfolding from you. You control linear time. It unfolds through you, as you, to you, for you. So you're not even a slave to that. So while I believe that, it's easier to take your awareness completely off of the deadline and know that there is no deadline, I mean, hey, you have to make that decision for you. You're going to have to choose, or you're going to have to pick a story and go to the end and stay there. You're going to have to make up the rules, go to the end and stay there. Yeah, for sure. It's very fluid. It's always changing. Do we see evidence of past thoughts play out while we're in the middle after declaring something new? Maybe and maybe not. Maybe or maybe not. But when you do see those things, it is a powerful declaration to say, look, this is just showing up because it's an old version of me just fading away. It's confronting me. It's trying to pull my energy, but I know it's just fading away. This is why your awareness or consciousness is important. Like, I'm not that anymore. It's not me anymore. So yeah, it can. Your old self can show up. Right? But my sister been watching Attack on Titan. She just sent me a text about what happened. You say Eren just joined the scout regiment. I think that's after he got the shit beat out of him by Levi. Anyways. Yeah, your old past can confront you. It can confront you. But remember, it's not important what you see during the unfolding. What is actually important is that you're telling a consistent story, that you know who you are, and you know what you already have. If you know what you already have, everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. Simply make a decision to tell a story that's empowering to you as things unfold for you. No matter what I see, if I know that I was here at one point in time and now I have to get here, all the way in between, I'm gonna see a bunch of change. And so every change is proof that everything is changing. I love that too. I'm assuming I love A is I love Attack on Titan. I feel you. Me too. Look, I'm not gonna be responsible for that. If you're driving, put your thumbs down. Focus on the road. Do I think the past thoughts playing out, confronting you is a test? I mean, you can think of it as a test, sure. You can think of it as a test, sure. Yeah, yeah. You can think of it as a test. The test is really how much conviction and how much faith are you going to walk in. Are you going to allow those circumstances to pull you off your story, or are you going to stay in the end of you already have it and declare that everything that you see is proof that it's all unfolding for you? Like, which route are you going to take? So, sure. Yes. It's a test. It's a test, right? Reality is always giving you choices. What route do you want to choose? Do you want to go down this route? Or do you want to go down that route, right? Do you want to go down the route of getting more of what you've already had? Maybe you do sometimes because you like it. Or do you want something different? Okay, well, choose different. Simply say that's fading away. Simply decree what situations are. Be so conscious and aware that you're always telling the story of what things are in front of you. The last 3 years is manifesting out there. I appreciate that. Look, everything is us. There's no out there. There's no within. It's just you. There's just one you, and everything is you. And so the more we just kind of lean into that fact, know who we are, and relax through this process, the more everything can be added to us. Well, y'all, I might have to jump off pretty quickly.
Hey there. Weed. This is the third time we've met, right? And you still underestimate the hell out of me.
All right. All right now. Girl, still driving and texting. Your ass stubborn. That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. Be stubborn and staying in the end of what you want and knowing that you have it. All right, other than divinity, what are the sources of my knowledge? Anywhere to life. It's all divinity, right? But if I'm just answering this straightforward and not trying to give some elaborate answer, shoot, I learn from everything. I learn from what I see other people going through. Hell, I learn from these lives. I learn through clients. I learn through books I read. I learn straight through downloads. I learn through studying my own life experience. I learn through every way possible, right? That's one of my primary focuses in life, is to constantly be in a state of learning. It's to constantly learn more. So, yeah, all different ways. All right, y'all. Let's log off right here. I know I ain't stay as long as usual, but that's something to take care of. Hey, I appreciate y'all as always. Always appreciate these discussions. I appreciate this space. Miraculously, because you are the miracle. I love to see that. I absolutely love to hear that, right? I appreciate y'all all, right? Remember, you guys all are gods. You are goddesses, okay? You are pure divinity, absolute pure divinity. And everything that you desire, you already have it. It's already unfolding for you, okay? And then last but not least, I'm still having a workshop this Saturday. I have a workshop probably once a month now. Moving forward, we're gonna have it once a month. But it's manifesting from the end. You're gonna do an exercise. You'll create an alter ego. We'll do guided meditations together. You'll also create your own affirmations. But really, the purpose of that is to kind of erase some limiting beliefs. So that workshop is free for anybody who's a paying subscriber on TikTok. For everybody else, it's $25. Okay, $25. The link to book it, is in the Calendly in my bio. Or if you are a subscriber, just send me a DM and I'll send you the Zoom link. All right. But I appreciate y'all. if y'all don't feel like you're divine and perfect and prosperous, it's cool because I see you as that way anyway, so I know it must be true. I know it must be true. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Beautiful evening, and I shall talk to y'all soon. All right, peace. Here we go with the awkward shit. I can't hit the end button yet. I have a stare down. Okay, here we go.